Hello, mindful friends. Today we're going to be talking about Thich Nhat Hanh's teaching that love is understanding, and how when we don't understand people, their sources of suffering, their perspectives of the world, their sources of joy and happiness, that is the root cause of our anger, division, and hatred. And I saw an example of this, a very minor example, at Deer Park Monastery in California. As I was in the bathroom doing our morning routines of brushing our teeth and everything, there were two little girls, probably about 7 or 8, and they're both brushing their teeth, and the one girl puts her toothpaste on her toothbrush, and it's green Crest toothpaste, and the other little girl goes, "Oh my gosh, you have green toothpaste. That's so weird." And I was thinking, weird? Like, isn't all toothpaste, like, I'm going through my head, like it's green or blue, maybe like some kids use bubble gum. And so I'm going through my mind like, why would this girl say this? And then, later the girl brushing her teeth with the Crest toothpaste leaves, and the other girl's mom comes in and takes out her toothpaste from her toiletry bag, and she has Tom's all natural toothpaste, which is always white. And so this little girl growing up, she may have at this age in her life never done a sleepover, or she just has had her family's toothpaste. And so in her mind, toothpaste is white. And so when she meets this other little girl, her reaction, at this age, we have a tendency to not be able to see beyond our own experience, right? I mean, that's all we've ever had for the 7 years of our life. It's only white toothpaste. So when we encounter somebody else who has green toothpaste, our first reaction is, "Oh, that's weird. What's wrong with you? You have green toothpaste." And the other little girl there probably has a tendency to then feel a little bit judged or hurt and totally misunderstanding, right? Like, this makes no sense to me. Why would you think my green toothpaste is weird? Now, we can use this as an analogy for anything else in our lives. Any time where we have a judgment of another, or an assumption of another, or we label them in a certain way that says, "You're weird, you're wrong, you're different than me," we then are in the mindset and the perception of that 7-year-old girl. We're so stuck in our way of seeing things, in our perception and our views, that we can't go beyond self to opening into looking at and understanding the experience of the other. So we look at them through our lens, we see green toothpaste, and we say, "Ooh, weird, wrong." Not right, right? Does not belong. And on the other side, the person is going, "Why are you judging me for this? Like, white toothpaste is the most normal thing one could ever experience as the only toothpaste I've ever had." Aha. This kind of trapped mindset, which as we're younger, right, happens, it's something we hope we grow out of as we encounter new experiences, new people. We see that their way of seeing the world is different, where they come from is different, how they experience life is different, the information they get is different. Hopefully, as we grow, we become more and more open. And we recognize that when a situation like that arises and I see green toothpaste, instead of my first reaction being judgment, my first reaction would be, I don't understand. There is not a lack of love here. There's not a division here. There is a lack of understanding. There is something here I don't understand. And then we would approach it with questions instead of judgments. Instead of saying something like, ew, you're weird or wrong, I would go in and say, hey, have you always had green toothpaste? What does it taste like? What is the brand? Where do you get it? My toothpaste is white. I've had that my whole life. I didn't know toothpaste could be green. What's your experience of green toothpaste? So we develop this curiosity about other people rather than an assumption and a judgment of other people. And this example was just so golden and wonderful. And even in my own mind, I'm judging the girl with the white toothpaste, saying, why would she assume green toothpaste is weird? Until I went out and saw into her perspective, into her situation, her past, and she's only ever had Tom's toothpaste. And then my judgment quickly, without any effort at all, turned into understanding. And that understanding turned into an endearment. Like, oh my goodness, I totally understand why you would have said that. That's adorable, let's talk about it. So if we can see this on a smaller level and then think, how do I apply this into my daily life? It's this teaching of, let's be these little girls, and as they're learning and say, hey, instead of moving right to judgment in anything that I say and people with difference around me, which then leads to, the hatred and the division and saying right and wrong, let's not assume that there's no love here. Let's assume that love is already present, and the thing that is lacking is an understanding of what is going on between us that we see differently. Ask questions, dive in, be excited to learn about the other person or the other group of people or the other political stance. Dive in with this heart that says, if I understand you better, love is here. And what happens is we, like I said, we hope as we age, we become more open. But what happens to a lot of us is if we don't move into that curiosity and desire to understand, we get more closed. We're around the people that think like us. We want to be in the groups that think like us. We don't want to be questioned. We don't want people to ask us questions. We feel attacked. We don't want to ask other people questions because we're safer in our assumptions. And we get more shut off. And what's lacking here, again, not love. Love is always present, always possible. What's lacking is understanding. So can we reverse that? And can we say, I want to go back and I want to be that child who is now wants to explore and wants to understand. You have green toothpaste? Rad! Tell me about it. Why do you have that? You have this different belief? Awesome. I want to learn. Tell me about that so that I can understand you better. Not approaching by saying, you need to understand me. Let me tell you how I see it. And if you think like me, we'll all be better because my way is the best way to heal and be well. But flip that. Say, you know what? I think I have something to learn from you. I think that love could be here if I understand you better. And so dive in, ask a question, get curious, be involved, and know that the more you do that, the more you understand the heart of the other, their intentions, their wishes, their hopes, their desires, their suffering, what really brings on suffering for them, what really brings on joy and happiness for them, you will love them. Because at the base, those things connect us. And when we understand those better, we can't help but feel that little bit of endearing, the compassion for them, the empathy for what they're going through. And a collective consciousness and humanity gets to develop in love. If you enjoy these talks and would like to join us for a group session or individual coaching, please visit us at newleafmindfulness.com. You can find these teachings and many more in my book, Living from the Heart, Healing Ourselves So We Can Heal the World. You can find that anywhere you buy your print or audio book content. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I hope to see you all very soon.